Yeah, guys, I'm here to give a quick walkthrough and tutorial on importing your Kontakt banks and adding them to expansions. Recently, there's been some confusion about that process, and I understand, and I'll admit it's not as straightforward as it could be, but at the same time, in a logical way, it kind of makes sense. So I'm going to load up the VIP software here, and I'm going to go through what I'm guessing a lot of people do and what creates the issue. So if I go to Kontakt right here, I'm going to load up the default preset. That default preset, which I'm guessing where most people start with, is if you go to Kontakt here, that's the one that's like not attached to any expansion. It's just one patch and it's sort of like a empty instrument, right? So I'm guessing most people are doing, they're going to Kontakt, and then they're going up here, they're turning on auto import, and then they're going to go down to their instrument. They're going to import, let's say we're going to go with this, and bring that in. And all of a sudden, it's default Kontakt preset, and they're like, oh crap, it's not naming my stuff. And then they bring in another one, and it's default Kontakt preset again. There's a very, very valid reason for this. So what's going on is this original, well, you know what, let's get rid of this. Let's delete these two again. Let's go back to that first one I started with here. This blank preset is technically not a blank preset because it has an instrument loaded with nothing in it, but it's still an instrument that's called default Kontakt preset. That is what this preset is. So when you're loading these, that's why you're getting it. It's grabbing it from here. It's grabbing it from this instrument. Awesome. So I'm guessing the next people, if they figure that out, they're gonna like, oh crap, okay, that's why. They're gonna delete it. Gonna load up the next one, and all of a sudden, what are you getting? You're getting unknown. You're gonna see unknown here as well. Try to load another one in. Same thing. Unknown, unknown. So I'm gonna show you the proper workaround for that. I'm gonna delete those three. Loading up that original preset again. What you want to do when you load this one, delete that immediately. Now, when I bring this in, hey voila, look at that 16V transistor. I'm gonna load the next one. Done. 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 And bringing your instruments, it says easy as that. So there you go. That's the first part. Now for expansions, for making the expansions, what I think people often do is they create the expansion first, they open up the instrument, they load up some presets, they try to drag it in, they're getting sort of like an X, it's like not working. What you have to do is load them in first and then create your expansion. It's a weird workflow, I don't know why it works that way, but this seems to work. So here I have my Phaedra, it's 0, and I'm just gonna shift click all these ones I just brought in and drag them, drop them right in there. Excuse me. There you go, there's my 12 patches. I select it, highlight it, there. Now I'm thinking, oh yeah, it's great, you know what? I'm going to do auto tag on import now. Got it flashing. You'll see it now. It's highlighted. I'm gonna keep adding more. It's not working. I have not found a way to make this work, I'll be honest. But I'll also be honest that it's not a big deal at all, because If I remove the auto tag, if I take it off, again, I can just bring in a huge bank like that. All I have to do is drag and drop. It kind of makes the auto tagging to the expansion useless. It's redundant because you can just shift click all the ones you just brought in, drag drop, they're there. And say like, I know these are all analog sounds, well then I can just do the same thing, drag them and drop them on analog. They're tagged. It's really that simple. And so they might not actually all be analog. I was just using that as an example. However, say you're bringing in something like Acoustic Legends here. If I'm bringing in all these steel string picked, I'm going to bring them all in. I'm going to create that expansion, Acoustic Legends, and often I like to separate these different folders as expansions. So you'll see like with the Hollandaise, I have the Marinette on its own. Those are the presets, and the mono presets and the poly presets, where the structure in here, it's kind of the same thing. You have the monophonic, you have the original presets, and you have the polyphonic presets. I like to separate like that. That's just a personal preference. But the cool thing with that is that then I'd create the expansion. I'd bring them all in, the presets first. So I'd kind of go through that same process I just did with all these. I'd create that expansion, Acoustic Legends, steel string picked. Drag all, I shift click, select them all, drag them all into the expansion, and then drag them all and start tagging them to, pick, and to steel strings, and to acoustic, and to guitar, stuff like that. And in those type of libraries, is actually really, really, really quick and easy and efficient to tag them all. But I can understand the frustration of people trying to get the auto tagging the expression. To be honest, in expansions, in any of these, I've never managed to get the auto tagging working. But again, I find it's almost redundant because it's so easy to drag and drop stuff into it. With that said, I'm a patient person. I lived through the Novation AutoMap system for years. I actually took great joy and pleasure into sitting down, deconstructing a synth, finding how I wanted to map it onto my knobs and my sliders and my buttons. I actually found it a joy to do that. Found it a joy also. It helped me to learn the details of that instrument as well. Some controls I might not have been paying attention to, and I'd be finding things along the way. But even if I wasn't getting that joy out of it, even if it was a chore to do it, after having it done, and then after every single time I would load up that instrument, having it automatically mapped on my system, the time that saved me in the long run, and the joy I got of having all of my plugins mapped, there's no comparison to it. It increased my productivity, it increased my workflow, it increased my happiness. There was no more frustration. Everything was hands-on. And I get the exact same experience with the Advanced series by AKAI, but even more integrated. I literally can turn my computer screen off and use my keyboard as a one system workstation, and I've never ever have had that experience before with MIDI controllers and soft synths. It's unbelievable. I can't express how happy I am with this system. It's got some niggles, it's got some bugs. The software does have a couple of issues. Kind of hoping that's going to be addressed, and a lot of little things that might be fixed in 2.0. But all in all, what it does really, really well. There's just a bit of work and effort to put into the system, but what you're going to get out of it in the long run, for me, there's no comparison. So anyhow, there's a Kontakt import preset, Kontakt expansion, tagging, works the same way with Reactor, Omnisphere stuff too, except for, well, they use a different preset manager. I've not found a way to get the actual titles of the presets in. And I hope that helps some of you out there that are having any issues or frustrations. So be well, take care, and